Hi, I'm Nicole for Journey. Here is my sheet with my name and today's date on it. And today we're going to be going over the chicken wing dissection that I've just completed, as well as answering a few questions about synovial joints. So to begin, I have my chicken wing right here. For starters, we're going to discuss the bones of the chicken wing. So up here with my pointer finger is the humerus bone. Over here is the radial bone. And then over here is the ulnar bone. I dissected both the proximal radial ulnar joint and then the distal radial ulnar joint. I feel like the proximal is easier to see with the lighting. So I'm going to go over the proximal radial joint. Radial ulnar joint. So to begin, we're going to go over the articular cartilage, which is kind of this pearl-like kind of like looking pearl-shaped area over here, like by the humerus, and that helps line the edges of the bones. So that's the humerus sitting on the ulnar head over here, the back one, and then the radial head. And you can see how that kind of lines up really well together. From there, there's the synovial membrane, which surrounds the bones together with the articular cartilage. And then from there, there's the synovial fluid, which is kind of like an oil-like fluid. It's kind of like oil feeling, and it helps sits the bones between the bones, and the fluid helps move the bones. And then it's completely surrounded by the articular capsule, so the whole thing is completely surrounded by the articular capsule. The chicken wing, as well on the bottom, has the same exact thing, the articular cartilage, which is that pearl-like kind of area over here, the synovial membrane, the synovial fluid, that oil-like fluid, and then the articular capsule. So both at the proximal radial ulnar joint and the distal radial ulnar joint. So from there, we have the few questions. Give an example and a definition of a disease that affects the synovial joint. So an example that I work really closely in my field is arthritis. Arthritis is joint swelling and pain that really affects the joints of the body. And there's also another example of synovioitis, which is inflammation in the synovial joints. And whenever the word itis is behind or follows a word, usually means inflammation. So synovioitis is that synovial inflammation. The second question is an example of the disease that alters the normal anatomical structures of the joint. So an example following the arthritis is osteoarthritis. That causes the cartilage, which is the hard and slippery tissue that covers the end of the bones where they form to begin the joints. That begins to break down, which is affecting how it normally looks. And that typically worsens over age. So the osteoarthritis and arthritis really affects the synovial joints. Thank you.